Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the Boise Unitarian Universalist Fellowship's online Zoom service. We are so glad that you are joining us this morning. I'm the Reverend Sara LaWall, and it is my great honor to serve this beloved community. Whether you're Zooming with us from just down the street, from across the city, or across the country, you are welcome here. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Whoever you love and however you identify, you are welcome here. Whatever faiths you have known or religious practices you embody, if any, you are welcome here. And we are so glad to be together on this, our annual Water Communion service. We gather together each week, and as we do so even virtually, we want to begin with a land acknowledgement, a recognition that the land upon which our church stands and many of our homes is the ancestral land of the Shoshone, Bannock, and Paiute tribes who inhabited a vast region, including much of Idaho. And we offer this acknowledgement as a recognition of the longer history of the land, long before colonization, acknowledging the ancient tribes whose names have been lost to history. And on this day, we honor their sacred teaching, water is life. We offer this acknowledgement as an uncomfortable truth. And in that discomfort, we are invited to move through the world, bringing justice in every way that we can, listening to the truths spoken to us by the native peoples, making space for them to re-inhabit this place and giving them back the resources they need to heal their communities. Our social justice plate partner for this month of September is the Citizens Climate Lobby, working with doable solutions in our legislature nationally and locally to protect our planet and to address the impacts of climate change. We are so proud to be partnering with them this month. If you are a newcomer to this community, a special welcome to you. We are delighted that folks are checking us out in this new online space, and we've met a few of you, and we're so glad that you're here. If you're willing, we invite you to introduce yourself in the chat and to fill out our newcomer form so that we can let you know all that is happening in all the virtual community spaces that we have to offer so that we can get to know you. We're so blessed to have many talented folks leading and supporting today's service. Sharene Watsen is our celebrant. Emerson-Paige, our RE coordinator and magical wonderboard storyteller, is with us. Rachel Strong is our Zoom tech host, and Carrie Bastian, our music director, is on piano. And we are so excited to share some special musical surprises with you today, featuring 3 Unitarian Universalist congregations. Ours, the UU Church of Palouse in Moscow, Idaho, and the Soul Weaving congregation in Spokane, Washington. We're so grateful for all of you out there and all of our UU neighbors who made this possible, and special thanks to the amazing work of Paul Thomson, the music director in Moscow. Our September theme, our spiritual theme this month, is the theme of renewal. And we explore how we are renewed by being part of a community, part of this amazing community. Today is our annual Water Communion service. It is the way that we begin our fall program year together every year. And so it is a multi-generational service. There will be no children's chapel today. Each year we come together with this service focused on water to honor the powerful themes that water represents in our lives. Themes of renewal, healing, flow, strength, and release. It's bittersweet today. We have a beautiful service planned for you, but Carrie and I were discussing right before the service the little bit of heartbreak that we feel in not being able to be together in recognizing that on any other year, we would have been here bright and early in the morning, our choir would have been here bright and early in the morning, preparing for a beloved favorite service of our year. In this unique ritual in Water Communion Sunday, we gather together the waters of our community, your waters, whether they're from your adventures or the backyard garden hose or the kitchen sink faucet. The waters we gather speak of our connectedness to one another, to the whole of life, and to our planet. Our waters receive our collective blessing and serve as our communal holy water for the year. Today, we're inviting you to join us in person in the north parking lot after the worship service to share your water in our common vessel, to receive that blessing and to bless our waters together. In fact, the service is designed to flow right into that ritual in person after we're done here together. We're taking all the safety precautions, and we do ask that you wear a mask. The first water communion ritual was created for the 1980 Unitarian Universalist Women and Religion Convocation. It was created by Carolyn McDade, hymn writer of Our Beautiful Spirit of Life, and Lucille Shuck Longview. And the two women chose water as an inclusive symbol of spirituality. They invited other women to bring water from across the country and share the water's significance, and the first water communion service was born. Of that service, they wrote these words: "Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence, acknowledging that the ocean is considered by many to be the place from which all life on our planet came, the womb of life, and that amniotic waters surround each of us prenatally, and now we realize that this worship service was for us a new story of creation, a story of community. We choose water as our symbol of our empowerment. Today, we continue this ritual with the waters of our lives, honoring the water that connects each to all. Let us take a moment to breathe together, to center ourselves into our spaces, to connect with the breath of life that connects with all of us. As we hear the words of our opening poem, I invite you to hear the words to the life force that is water. Thou art the song of my heart in the morning. Thou art the dawn of truth in my soul. Thou art the dew of the roses adorning. Thou art the woven whole. Thine is the grace to be steadfast in danger. Thine is the peace that none can destroy. Thine is the face of the need-riven stranger. Thine are the wings of joy. Thou art the deep, to the deep in me calling. Thou art a lamp where my feet shall tread. Thy way is steep past the peril of falling. Thou art my daily bread. Thine be the praise of my spirit uplifted. Thou art the sea to each flowing stream. Thine be the days that are gathered and sifted. Thou art the deathless dream.
Wow, that was spectacular. Each week, we light a flaming chalice, a symbol of our free faith, a beacon of welcome, of hope, a light of truth and love. We join in this lighting in solidarity and community with hundreds of other Unitarian Universalists lighting chalices today in homes and in virtual worship services, reminding us that we are connected to one another and to a larger community of faith and love. Today, before we light our chalices, we call forth the elemental directions: earth, air, fire, and water, and love, to ground us in the power of earth and the heart of this community. We offer you this call to worship adapted from Joan Goodwin, alongside images of altars to each of the 4 directions created by this worship team and Booth families.
Spirit of the East, Spirit of air, whisper to us of vision and new beginnings. Fill us with the breeze of hope and joy for a new dawn that rises every day. Inspire us with the fresh breath of courage as we go forth into new adventures.
Spirit of the South, Spirit of fire, bring us the flames of passion, the fire of commitment to put our faith into action, to live it boldly in the world. Warm us with strength and energy to envision work that awaits us.
Spirit of the West, Spirit of water, guide us into the flow, feeling the cool quietness of healing and peace. Let us feel the love flowing ever stronger within us, urging us toward our collective vision for our community and our world.
Spirit of the North, Spirit of earth, of nighttime, let us feel the ground of our being, the inner vision of wisdom in the darkness. May we find nourishment for our bodies, minds, and spirits as we celebrate the spiraling journey of our lives.
Spirit of the center, force of love that comes together from all the elements, love which holds our vision and grows within us in beloved community. Let us feel your presence among us. We invite the power and beauty of the elemental forces to come alive within us as we light our chalices. If you have a chalice nearby, you are invited to light it with our young chalice lighters. We are bringing back young chalice lighters because we have missed them so. Our children ground us in the depth of love and joy in this beloved community. And today we welcome Conley and Greta Watsen as our chalice lighters. As they light their chalice from their home on 20th Street, we invite you to share in the chat where your chalice is being lit today.
Take them to the water. Take those sorrows to a cool, glassy lake. Walk right in, lay down and be baptized. Rise up, refreshed, renewed, and awake. Oh, give yourself over to the great flow. Let the waters of hope wash your sorrows clean. Let hope live, carry, and connect you to all the living, swimming in the stream. Life began in the sea, where waters flow in you and me. Each and every precious drop connects and renews us on this pale blue dot. If driven to your knees by the end of day, just go down to the river and pray, and take your troubles, take them to the water. Take those troubles to a rough, rolling sea. Walk right in, lay down and be baptized. Rise up, refreshed, renewed, and at peace. Oh, give yourself over to the great flow. Let the waters of love wash your troubles clean. Let love live, carry, and connect you to us. Swimming in the stream, swimming in the stream, we're swimming in the stream.
I want to invite our children to move in a little closer to your screen for our time for all ages. Have you ever gone on a really big adventure that you were just really excited for? Something like, lots of us have been traveling to go visit nature, like camping at our favorite mountain lake, or driving a long way so that we can walk in the Pacific Ocean at the Oregon coast. Those are some of my favorite trips to make. Sometimes I get so excited about going on a trip that I pack my best camera, my favorite novels, at least 3 of them, coloring books and good pencils, everything I can think of to make the trip the most fun it can be. And then I'm stuck carrying these things around, trying to figure out how to make time to read and draw, and feeling bad when I don't. When I choose to go sit at the beach instead of sit and draw. I wonder how many of you have ever done that. But is that the best way to do things if you want to be really present and in awe of the ocean or the mountainous night sky? Our story today is going to help us think about the expectations we bring with us and what we truly need to get the most out of our experiences. The story is The Water of Life by Kate Compston. Three people were searching for the water of life, hoping to drink from it and live forever. The first was a mighty warrior. He trained his whole life to be efficient and brave in the face of challenges, to use his mind and his body as a force that cannot be outwitted or overtaken. He reckoned the water of life would be very mighty, a torrential rapid. So he went in full armor with his sword, his helmet, and his shield, believing in all his weapons, believing he could force the water to yield to him so that he might drink. The second was an enchantress. Her knowledge was passed down from her greatest of grandmothers. She concerned herself with the mysteries and magics of what she could not see, but knew how to charm and spell cast and conjure. She reckoned the water of life would be very magical, perhaps a whirlpool, something that she would need to manipulate with spells. So she went in her long, star-spangled robe that cloaked her to the night sky. She hoped to outwit the water. This is a beautiful robe. She wished it around as she traveled. There we go. The third was a merchant. He spent years evaluating and judging the worth of fine things, seeking out the stories and rumors of the rarest, most revered objects. He knew great histories of human creations, as well as where we mined and cultivated even our most precious of material resources. He reckoned the water of life would be very costly, maybe a fountain of pearls and diamonds. So he loaded up his clothes. It's already carrying a lot. He loaded up his clothes and purses with money, hoping to be able to buy the water for the best price. So our three travelers, and when they traveled together, they traveled far across the land, searching out every rumored location, every hidden cranny they could. When they finally reached their destination after many months, they found they had been quite wrong about the water of life. It wasn't a torrent to be intimidated by force. It wasn't a whirlpool to be charmed by spells. And it wasn't a fountain of pearl drops or diamonds to be bought for money. It was just a tiny, sparkling spring, bubbling up quietly from the ground. Its benefits were absolutely free. Anyone could drink. But of course, you had to kneel down to drink from it. This caused our seekers great consternation. What the travelers missed in their consternation and frustration was the simple invitation of the water. They were so busy projecting their visions of what the water should be, they could not see the gifts that the sparkling spring had to share. The spring innately understood the interconnectedness of life and knew that if the travelers could give part of themselves over to each other and to the water, they would be nourished too. The spring felt most itself when people found what they needed in its presence. The spring held deep the wisdom that giving was an essential practice in the flow of life, and that giving and receiving connected us to a deeper purpose for the greater good.
So let us take up the invitation of the spring to give with that depth of purpose, building the world that we dream about, and sharing our gifts this month with our plate partner, Citizens Climate Lobby of Boise, working to renew our planet. They too are working for a common dream where the earth and its waters lift us all. To give your gifts to our offering, please visit our website, boiseuu.org, and click Give at the top right corner of the screen. You can enter your gifts in the Sunday offering box, 25% of which will be shared with the Citizens Climate Lobby at the end of the month. If you would like your gift to be handled differently, please use the special contributions box and share your wishes in the comments. Of course, so many of you continue to mail your checks to the church, and that is a wonderful option. We thank you so much for the collective generosity and the commitment of this community. Our offering will now be received.
Waters ripple and flow, drifting to the sea. Gentle falling streams, ever calling to me. Gentle falling stream, ever calling to me. Waters ripple and rushing to the sea, deep and rivers deep and wide, calling to ever calling rivers deep and wide, ever calling to me. Listen to the river, listen to the sea, joining with the inner song of peace, joining with the inner song of peace, inner song of peace, inner song of peace.
Let us return to our three travelers. I wonder, why do you think they are so filled with frustration at the waters of life, which offers itself freely to all who visit? Let's see. The warrior was in full armor, head to toe, and he could not bend. The enchantress had on her long magic robe, sparkling with starlight, and if that became soiled, it would lose all the power she spent her life cultivating and honoring. The trader was so loaded with money from head to toe that if he did no more than incline his head, coins would start rolling away. All dressed up, the three could not lower themselves to drink from the spring of the water of life. There was only one solution.
So the warrior laid aside his sword and his armor. And the enchantress laid aside her magic robe. And the trader laid aside all of the bags of money he had stuffed in his robes. And then each of them, dressed only in humility, could finally kneel to drink from the water of life and receive the cool, startling benefits. The warrior drank, kneeling from the water of life. The enchantress kneeled and drank from the water of life. And the trader kneeled and drank from the water of life. I wonder if you have ever had to adjust your expectations about something that you thought was important. I wonder if you carry around some stuff in your life, like the travelers held on to all of their clothes at first, and if you hold on so tightly to that stuff, it keeps you from new experiences. When I first read this story and I got to the very end, I kind of felt my whole body relax. I let out this huge sigh of relief. Like the story affirmed in me a deep knowing, a knowing that we all carry, that we can be blessed by life, that I could be blessed by life by just being me, no costumes required. Sometimes life reveals itself with all of its benefits and beauty in the simplest moments, in moments that require us to just let go, to let go of all the stuff that we schlep around with us, all of our expectations, all of our worries, all of that armor that we carry, whether it takes the form of magic robes, pockets full of money, or something else. And so often we move through life almost unaware that we're holding on to all this stuff, all of these ideas about what life should be and about who we should be or how we should be. Or maybe we cling to stories that have shaped our experience so much that we've trained ourselves to expect something from life, to either maybe expect that life will be always hard, or for some of us, maybe that life's pretty easy and we can get by. Are you more like the warrior, expecting a challenge, a torrent, a fight? Maybe you're more like the enchantress, expecting a geyser only you can tame. Are you more like the trader, expecting expense, ready to pay whatever it takes to drink from the water of life? Or maybe you have a different way of approaching life. So what happens when you let all of that go? When you let go of expectations, when you let go of overwhelm, of worry, of the stuff? It's not always that easy, is it? The last 6 months have certainly given us a lot of practice. Living life in a pandemic continues to challenge us, requiring us to change and adapt in ways we never imagined or expected. School is online for many. Church is here. I am here in an empty building while all of you are out there in my screen. All of us are living in this strange and new hybrid space of home and work and virtual life. We've had to celebrate birthdays and graduations and weddings with fewer people or entirely online. We're getting really good at Zoom. And we have to weigh risks with every decision we make, even like going to the dog park or the playground or going out to eat, even grocery shopping. It gets a little exhausting after a while, doesn't it? And we've trained ourselves now to avoid getting too close to people. That one is especially hard. And we're grappling now with the reality that all of this will last a whole lot longer than we really could have imagined. So I just want to name that letting go of expectations and worry and anxiety and plans is not always easy. So many of us have had to let go of so much these last 6 months. Remember in our story, it caused the travelers great consternation. Because it's a story, their willingness to let their stuff go and kneel by the waters of life happened seemingly fast, but who knows, they could have been at the banks of that spring for weeks, agonizing and debating and weighing risks. But when we are finally able to release and let go, those are the moments when we're most in touch with our spiritual selves, with that deepest part, the essence of who we are. And I know we've had those moments in this pandemic too. Moments of just absorbing the sheer beauty around us. Moments of reconnecting with loved ones or friends in wildly creative ways. Moments of listening to ourselves because we've had just a little bit more time. Moments even on Zoom, like with our beautiful virtual choir today, when we experience the depth of love in community. I watched those videos for the first time last night and certainly felt the tears come and the joy of hearing our choir again. It gives me such an upwelling of joy and love for the sounds, the simple things which we have not experienced in quite a while. When we can let the waters of life nourish us and carry us, even as we trust that while there may be great sorrow and pain and tears, and we have seen that and we experience that in these moments too, there can also be peace and joy and strength and love. Often the invitation in those moments is to really shed the things that we carry that don't really serve us, to unburden ourselves, to kneel down, to assume a posture of receptivity and openness, to allow the waters of life to wash away all that we are holding and allow the water to hold us. Knowing that that little spring, the rushing river, the roaring ocean, the lake is an invitation to renewal, to connect with the larger whole, with the magnitude and simplicity of life. This is the significance of our water communion ritual, the ritual that we practice every year. The waters that we share represent the beautiful complexity of our lives. Not just the wonderful places we've been, but the essence of who we are. That deepest part of ourselves, the gifts that we have to share with the world and with each other. A few years ago, I started carrying a small vial of our water communion water with me everywhere. It goes in my bag. I've used it just a few times, a house blessing or as an offering to someone that I'm visiting. But mostly it just is there in my bag, and every time I see it, it helps remind me of this community and of our connectedness. Every time I see it down at the bottom of my purse, there it is, there you are. And when our first stay-at-home order was issued, I took a bunch of things from my home office to create an altar at home. I took a bunch of things home from my office and created an altar. And one of the first things I took was our beautiful container of water, which has held the gathered holy water of this community now for more than 30 years. And today when we share our water, we'll share some of this water in the common vessel too, whether we're sharing it in person or through your presence right here in this virtual space. We are saying we are part of this village, this community. We are part of this wider world and this planet. We are willing to let go, to give something of ourselves for the sake of the whole. And in that giving, in creating the water of life that connects us, we are renewed, we are blessed, we are whole. And we can return to the water in any form, really, again and again and again, to be reminded of life's simple yet profound gifts. We are always connected, each to all. Come, whoever you are enough. One of the ways that we will allow each other to return to our water is that after we collect our water today, we'll package it up in small vials and leave them out by our door for you to collect your own vial of our community's water, which we will use throughout the year for various services and blessings, even virtually. We close our worship service calling forth the waters of our lives. This next video are all of the photos that you sent in, all of the magical places of water that meant something to you. These are the waters that connect us.
River Call by Manish Mishra Marzetti. Between rocking the boat and sitting down, between stirring things up and peaceably going along, we find ourselves here, in community, each called from many different journeys, many different life paths, onto this river road. Some of us are here because the rocking of the boat has been too much tumult, too much uncertainty, too much pain. Some of us are here with questions about where the boat is going, how best to steer it, where this journey ends. Others are here as lovers of the journey, of life itself. Here in front, beside, behind, each a passenger, each a captain, doing the best we can. Rest here in your boat with me, the river calls. Listen to how I flow, the sound of life coursing all around you. Let the current hold you. Let the current guide you. The river that gently flows through your soul whispers, stay here a while. Rest. Hold on to hope. Know that you are home. Answer the call of love. We now call forth the waters of our lives. From lakes and rivers,
oceans and seas, creeks and streams, hoses and faucets, from lands as far as Transylvania and as near as our backyards, both new and familiar, joined together in the interdependent web of life. We call forth the waters of our lives. Celebrating family fun, far-flung adventure, the treasures of this majestic planet, we bring our hearts to this place. Rejoicing in our full beloved community, in all the ways that we gather together. We call forth our blessed waters of joy. For those experiencing rolling changes of disruption and discomfort, for family far away, for new friendships and those rekindled, for cherished memories that seem so long ago, for the adventures in our own backyard, we call forth our healing waters of love. The many inequities that surround us, for those who battle oppression, racism, exclusion, for those who have been shut out and shut down, we call forth our raging waters of justice. For the wind that is always at our back, for a new life and the love of community, for finding beauty all around us, for knowing we are enough. We call forth the powerful waters of strength. Some of us struggle with deep roots of grief, some with pain and loss, with brokenheartedness, having shed lonely tears for ourselves and our hurting one. We call forth our waters of shared sorrow. May we hear the call of our heart's own longing. May we step into the flow, carrying us toward wholeness, healing, and transformation. May we love without ceasing. We call forth the loving waters of our lives. We call forth the blessings of this beloved community. Friends, we invite you to come and join us in the north parking lot to bring your water to share, to see one another in physical space with masks and all the love of this community. We have 3 stations set up to enjoy our in-person walk-through or drive-through water communion. We hope